Alright guys, now that we have this awesome all AMD gaming PC all booted up and ready to go, let's talk about a couple benchmarks real quick. Now we decided to test this PC in a couple of titles, those being Call of Duty Cold War, Fortnite, Apex Legends, and Borderlands 3. Now first up in Fortnite on performance mode at 1440p, we did test all the games in today's benchmark run at 1440p. We got over 300 FPS, sometimes into the 600s, but then sometimes dips down to like 60 and 80 FPS. Fortnite performance mode is just all over the place. I know it's an alpha mode that is in Fortnite, so I do expect some wonkiness here and there, but for the most part, it's just kind of crazy how wild the frame rate is, but still getting over 300 plus FPS experience for the most part at 1440p is pretty crazy. Most of you aren't going to play Fortnite at 1440p. If you're really playing it competitively, you're probably getting a 1080p 240Hz monitor, and in that situation, that Ryzen 5800X can easily get over 240 FPS at 1080p if you are going that route. But because we're really trying to see how powerful the 6700 XT really is, we tested at 1440p and got, for the most part, pretty good numbers, and this would translate over really well to all other esports titles like Apex Legends, which we did test at max settings, and we got mainly 144 FPS, which is the built-in frame rate limit, but we did dip a little bit below to like 130 here and there. Apex Legends is a slightly more GPU dependent game in terms of the esports category, and on max settings, getting over 130 FPS at 1440p is really, really good. Not many people are running max settings on esports titles if they're playing competitively. There's always optimized pro settings out there, so you can easily get a locked 144. But again, we're trying to stress this system to its limits, and Apex Legends on max settings can do that, and getting over 130 FPS is still very, very impressive. Now next up in Call of Duty Cold War, we start to see why that Lexar memory that we got is so important. On high settings at 1440p, we got over 100 plus FPS, but we were using nearly 15 gigs of RAM. Those 32 gigs that we got from Lexar are absolutely perfect for this build. One, they look beautiful. You got all that RGB that you could ever want, and it was really easy to overclock in the BIOS using an XMP profile, and it was just rock solid out of the box. That's not something you can say for all RAM modules. Sometimes XMP just does not work very well, but with this motherboard and RAM combo, it worked beautifully. Getting over 100 FPS at 1440p is no easy feat for a game like Call of Duty Cold War, and this would go over very well with a game like Warzone as well. So if you're a Call of Duty gamer, you can easily play those games with a 6700 XT and a 5800X. The only thing I do have to mention is, if you really want to get into content creation, you may want to opt for the RTX 3070 instead because of the NVIDIA encoder. Of course, on the used market or scalper market right now, you're definitely paying an even bigger premium for a card like the RTX 3070 over the 6700 XT, but that is the price you pay for the features that NVIDIA has to offer right now. But if you're just a gamer, you really don't need anything else. The 6700 XT is an absolutely awesome card, especially in this current market. And last but certainly not least, our AAA benchmark of choice today, Borderlands 3, and with the built-in benchmark at ultra settings on 1440p, we averaged 71 FPS. Imagine being able to play AAA titles at 1440p with this PC. It's absolutely awesome. I just really hope when the graphics card market gets better that people are going to consider the 6700 XT and 5800X, because this all AMD combo can crush pretty much any game you throw at it. It will be great for content creation, a little bit limiting in live streaming because of the lack of an NVIDIA encoder, but you can still actually live stream with an AMD GPU. I know I harp about the fact that NVIDIA is better for live streaming, but you can still definitely live stream with an AMD GPU. It's just not going to be as great of an experience, so just something to keep in mind. But for the most part, I'm incredibly happy with this PC build for the money, and incredibly happy with the Lexar Hades memory that we were given for this PC build. 32 gigs, 3600 megahertz RGB. It looks absolutely great. If you want to pick up this RAM, because they are today's sponsor, link in the description down below, along with all the other parts for today's video. They will be affiliate links, and they will help us out. How about I bring Jackson back in here to wrap this video up real quick?